The Cheating Death podcast is a comedy, random, and truth-seeking podcast containing information, subject matter, language, and course material that may not be suitable for all listeners. Your discretion in this matter is advised, and if you have any concerns, email us at thecheatingdeathpodcast@gmail.com. On today's episode, we get into the atrocities Unit 731 committed, some of the horror that took place during World War II. We'll also provide you with an all-new Annihilation Announcement, a joke of the episode, and more. So, grab yourself a coffee and your favorite blanket. You know what it's time for. Put your feet up on that table and let us tell you how you can cheat death. This is your news anchor, the Cleric of Chaos, and this is your Annihilation Announcement. Unit 731, one of the most disturbing, disgusting, and despicable locations, military or otherwise, to have ever existed. One would compare the horrors and the crimes of Unit 731 to the debacles that were associated directly with the Auschwitz, the Birkenau camps of the 1940s. It is widely speculated that Unit 731 was created as a partnership to the concentration camps, but this cannot be confirmed. What is important for each of us to understand is that now there are more clandestine operations taking place than ever. So when we read about them in the future, do not be too surprised. This has been your news anchor, the Cleric of Chaos, and this is your Annihilation Announcement. Willkommen, meine Freunde. Guten Morgen, guten Tag, eine gute Nacht. Ist deine Reisender, deine Ausländer, deine Allesfresser, deine Cleric of Chaos. World War II, the sequel to the Great War. Calamity, chaos, confusion, and concern. These are only but a small list of the feelings and emotion and situations of World War II were taking place. For it is the case, dear listener, that there were atrocities and calamities far beyond what the human mind should be capable of conceiving. Unit 731 was a Japanese internment, concentration camp, and prisoner of war camp back in the 1930s and 1940s, escalating during World War II. The location of Unit 731 is approximately 350 kilometers north to 700 kilometers north of the North Korean border in mainland China. It was during this time, when Unit 731 was being devised, that the Japanese were carrying out the Nanking Massacre, in which hundreds of thousands of Chinese citizens were butchered, brutalized, and destroyed. Villages, towns, municipalities burned to the ground. This was only the beginning of Unit 731. Throughout the 1940s, Unit 731 would not only take prisoners of war to these locations, but they would also kidnap Chinese citizens, regular everyday men, women, and children. They would kidnap them and take them to these facilities where they would conduct the most horrific and the most heinous experiments known to man, removing one's eyes while they are still alive to see what the reaction would be, removing one's organs while one is still alive without anesthetic to see what the reaction would be, amputations, the joining of two people surgically. These are only but a short list of the horrors that took place at Unit 731. World War II was a very testy time. It was clearly a time in which global turmoil, hence the name World War II, was in high effect. The United States of America only decided to get into the war after Japan bombed Pearl Harbor in 1941. One would argue if the United States would have gotten involved a little bit sooner, that the war would have ended a lot sooner as well. However, the United States of America did not want to get involved, predominantly due to the damage that they had seen been done throughout World War I, and selfishly, they just, quite frankly, didn't really want to. The only reason why the United States became involved in the Unit 731 and the World War II debacle is because they were bombed. Their home country was targeted and attacked. As such, retribution must be sought and obtained. In these particular times, when going through the calamities and the records of 731 of what remains, it was identified that the most horrific scientific and medical experiments known to man would be carried out. Individuals would be purposefully injected with disease, with radiation, with chemicals that would make your veins feel as if they are on fire. Surgery done on an elective basis, all for the purposes of seeing just exactly how the respondent would react. Understand that this was no testing ground. This was no facility to improve the betterment of humanity, no matter what the excuses were and or are. This was a facility of evil, a denizen of destruction, and a pure creature of confusion and concern. We look at the way we treat prisoners of war now. And obviously, even though they're prisoners of war, they're still human beings. The Geneva Convention and the Nuremberg trials made it so that you cannot dehumanize a human being if they are captured in war. Yet, before the Nuremberg trials and before all of the studies and all of the massive campaign that led to the uncovering of Unit 731, everything and anything that happened there was all but a myth. It was in this time that Japan felt completely comfortable and untouchable messing with people of different countries, creating different medical experiments and different reasons to participate in them, and the death in sheer numbers, the toll, the bodies that were thrown into pits, burned en masse, the amount of debauchery and horror within this campaign. Very few out in the open campaigns to this day can match the sheer horror and the devastation. One would argue that the situation in Darfur right now may very well have that possibility, but that remains to be seen. What are your thoughts on Unit 731? Do you feel that the scientific experiments were even remotely necessary? Let us know at thecheatingdeathpodcast@gmail.com. At the top of the program, we promised you a new top 5 list for today's episode, so without further ado, our top 5 favorite holiday songs. Coming in at number 5 is Silent Night. Coming in at number 4 is Jingle Bells. Coming in at number 3 is Silver Bells. Coming in at number 2 is Carol of the Bells. And coming in at number 1 is Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas. What is your top 5? Email us at thecheatingdeathpodcast@gmail.com. Today's joke has been brought to you by the Cleric of Chaos. It would surprise you to know that cannibals do not like eating divorced men. Turns out the taste is just a bit too bitter. The horrors that were perpetrated by Unit 731 throughout the course of World War II, including but not limited to the Nanking Massacre, which led to thousands and thousands and thousands of individuals being led to this facility, it has been widely speculated that there are very, very few documents left with respect to the atrocities that Unit 731 was complicit within. However, we are not aware of this. In truth faction format, there is no statement that indicates whether or not these documents exist. However, what remains clear is this: Unit 731 conducted horrific experiments upon people, the likes of which, if I were to mention in this podcast, you would become violently ill. But there are still a lot more left to uncover. Thank you for tuning in today. Take care of yourself and each other. The Cheating Death Podcast is brought to you by Nacht im Leben CRDVC, Chaos Realm Records, and CR Deutschland. We are available on all major podcasting platforms. If you'd like to support the program, you may do so at the links in the episode description with a one-time donation, a monthly supporters club with our speaker membership, or you may book a meeting for a music lesson, helping you with event planning, communication, and more. linktr.ee/Cleric of Chaos. Follow us at the program at twitter.com/weallcheatdeath, twitter.com/Cleric of Chaos, and please remember to follow all of our friends and consultants in the links in the episode's description. If you or anyone you know is experiencing psychiatric duress, call 1-800-273-8255 or 988 for your mobile phone in the US or Canada. If you are experiencing domestic violence, call 1-800-799-7233. And if you're looking at adopting a playful puppy or a cute kitten, please visit your local animal adoption rescue center. Remember, the snow may be beautiful, but it comes with a chilling detail. Stay alert, stay aware, and remember, we're pulling for you. We're all in this together.